One of these days I'll actually get back and caught up with everything. Hey, but welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we entered H Corp for the beginning of Canto 8. And this time, we will be continuing on with our Canto 8 stuff, but just to show off how far behind I am, we are at the Ryoshu Ryoshu Capstone ID banner. And so we might as well just at least try for it. And no dice. Unfortunate, but not unexpected exactly. Anyways, we'll go back with Disruption. And this is the start of how things are, at least at the current point in time. Well, actually, oh, okay, never mind. We've had them a little bit before. Of course, we're going to go with Honglu. We'll grab Mao Faust. We will grab Zichun Ishmael. And then grab Merceau. Actually, yeah, we'll grab Merceau. Go those two. There, bop, 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 bop. Something along those lines. Then you'll... Wait. Something's going on outside. Not long after Sod paused over Otis's remark, a grating speaker whine rang out, followed by the worried voice of the bear on the other end. Oh, we're under attack! I thought things were just going a little too easy. It's no surprise that the other candidates are trying to eliminate us just in case. Why am I not surprised? And I think it's just more thugs. Yeah, more thugs with the hilarious "oh no" passive. Pretty easy fight. One thing I will say, just kind of as I was watching Lord Honglu go to work, Haisho team is interesting. I don't think Haisho is the most fun team out there. It's not a bad team by any means. Don't get it twisted with that. It's a good enough team, but like it's a weird team. Also, we are at the Nocturnal Sweeping Bocock for another week. Already got the Otis ID. Probably will just be going for what were the tickets. Actually no, I can't do the hard mode yet, can I? Because I have to be I assume at least. Yeah, 8:33, so we gotta finish off this one. Like, it's not a bad team. It's not a particularly interesting one either. That said, I will actually change things up a little bit. Just so I can maximize my gains from that. I'm gonna have to just clear selection, and then we at least have. I mean, again, nothing else. We have the we have a couple Haisho that we can utilize. Just not use the middle. Of course, middle included because of Ricardo. Ricardo Heathcliff did come out in time since the last video, because I think my last recording is April Fool's, and it is well past that at this point. Exact details, not really that big of a concern. I just had a really busy schedule, mental health stuff, but whatever. That's besides the point. We'll skip ahead. Didn't even need to get to full sanity for everyone in order to finish them off. I mean, they're a weak fight anyways, so it's not like it's all that difficult, but you know. Let's check if I have... Oh, I didn't even realize I had you up there. No, I don't have yours. You don't actually have a... Oh no, you do have a Haisho. Entirely forgot that Haisho existed. Forgot that C-Branch existed. Okay, yeah, we can go effective. Is this as full of Haisho as we can get? Merceau actually doesn't have a Haisho we don't have your high show. And Sinclair, we do have his high show, but we'll keep him as is. And then Rodeo, we don't have hers. So that'll be fine. Petals. Entering Daguanyan now! Despite some troubles on the way, it seemed that we managed to arrive at our destination mostly unhurt. Daguanyan, Honglu's old home. We're running out of time. Foss, I'm sure you understood the most important part of my plan, right? It is unlikely to be a pleasant sight to behold. Remember, the plan hinges on your patience, everyone. You have to remain calm and wait, even if they freak out and actively try to kill you. There is a chance that they might panic and immediately order for the sinners to be executed on the spot. For it is unlikely that the person whose responsibility is to judge the next family hierarch of Hong Yuan will make such a hasty response. Exactly. Everything's gonna be fine as long as the decider has the capacity for patience. Execution, what? Great, I'll follow up with subsequent contact once you've safely completed the first round of evaluations. After that cryptic exchange with Faust, Saw leaped gracefully off the moving palanquin as Heathcliff murmured in his half-sleep. Watched her grow smaller and smaller as the distance between us grew. But what really caught our eyes were the scattered humans that the restructuring day had evicted from their homes. They're trying to drag their broken bodies off the road, sobbing and writhing. It's horrible. Isn't anything we can do to help, but such sense of futility and powerlessness will negatively impact the future performance of your professional obligations. Repeated exposure to similar stimuli is recommended to desensitize oneself to the sensation. So, Honglu, how do you feel about going back home after so long? Sinclair changed the subject. I don't know. Not even to ask him, lad. No, it can't be easy. It's me, blimey, I hesitated almost 1,000 times when I thought she'd just turn around and leave. I knocked on the gates, but she... Heathcliff came to a suffocating stop, his voice trembling lightly as he did so. The other sinners stared at him in confused silence. What is it? Why do you stop in the middle of the... wow, look at these cool windows! They can get swapped out with the other images. I quickly tried to swerve from the subject again, but all I got was Ishmael's scolding glare that seemed to wordlessly tell me, not the time. I remember. I remember what happened each time one of us returned to the part of the city that held our memories. Memories of happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy. And as we traveled, I remember that they were all looking at sceneries only they could see. Rojo, you awkwardly tried your best to crack jokes. Sinclair, you tried your best to hold back the welling tears again and again. You saw and you shut your eyes for a long, long time. Ishmael, you couldn't stop talking to yourself while glaring down at the lake's surface. And Heathcliff, I saw you scared and anxious, scraping your hair over and over again. You've really been watching us closely, huh? Did we? Spring leaves, petals scattering. Oh, she'll turn around to find doors to which they belong and return forevermore. I think everyone has a small amount of petals to gather for themselves. What? Why would anyone club something like that? You simply haven't discarded them yet. There's still a transparent smile on his face, but I think I saw a burying, sinking shadow behind it. Oh. The moment I felt that a familiar light came into view, and I immediately understood what was going on. The golden bough was close, and it's resonating with Honglu's fathoms. They watch the flower burial of mine and mock away. Who lays me to rest once I die? When spring passes, youth passes, as wrinkles shear it all away. Flowers pass, peoples pass, and ignorant they remain to where they lie. Why do you always recite these strange complicated poems, Dayu? There are plenty of ways to remain young, aren't there? Because we need to see the snow in our hair to know the spring will pass. Why are you cleaning up the fallen petals? Float them down a stream with good dirt on your hands. And why be so wasteful? How will we hear the sound of falling rain once we sweep all the petals away? It's a remembrance of a rainy day. So I'm going to treasure it. Besides, these beautiful blossoms will get so dirty in the stream will float away. So please don't scatter all the petals from your embrace, big bro, you. Honglu, is there anyone here you miss here at Daguanyan? No, there isn't. But how's that possible? Isn't your family there and a bunch of other people who are so important to you? Well, as long as I believe them to be doing well, there's no need for me to yearn to see them again. Do you still treasure your petals? No. I scattered them all the day I departed my home. My rainy days are now silent. I see. You saw that, didn't you, Dante? It's not my memory. I did. Honglu laughed. I wasn't surprised or angry that I peered into his memories. Do you want to tell us about your parents? Or, you talked about your grandmother pretty often, right? What kind of people are they? Sinclair added carefully. Maybe he was trying to commiserate, tenuous as that connection might have been. We were headed to his home to meet his family anyway. Well, they're both very wise in the ways of the world. grandmother always treated me preciously. So did my mother and my father. We're almost there. I can see the garden. It's just one massive garden. Still have some time before we get to the main buildings. Remember the days when deer and hare would frolic out here in the garden? I see myself taking a long walk around here. Took a whole day and then some to cover the entire ground. I actually lingered only around my own room. It's dangerous to stray too far, after all. It's dangerous, why? It's a stranger danger. Getting lost, getting targeted. Besides, it's very dark at night. Well, that wasn't very big deal, eh? Kids run around, scrape their faces on the branches, strip up and eat shot in the pavement all the time. I'm sure you would have run freely around the garden, Heathcliff. But it's important to always be careful. Now it's 5, someone allowed their deadly poison on a random tree branch. Poison? I had a little brother who liked to frolic as you do, Heathcliff. But by some coincidence, you have to be running around the same tree that had its branches lathered with poison. What has transpired thereafter? I'm sure he got better. Mr. Wren told me he'll be fine just after 100 nights rest. Because Wren was all so smart, I'm sure it happened exactly as she said. The characterization of Hong Lu is so interesting. It's like he is very much he's a very aloof character. He's someone who is very much detached from a lot of things. But you can still tell that, like, man's going through some shit. Entering Dahuating now. It wasn't long before I arrived at the new palace, to a new place within Daguanyan was made known by the Palanquin Bearer's sonorous announcement. More buildings? What's Dahuating anyway? Grand Flower Hall. Is that thing you'd call it a place for banquets? So you host banquets in this village-sized venue? Is that a lake over there? No, it's a pond. A pond? Damn. Let's arrive and find ourselves a welcome party for Zishun and me. Well, you should be able to stuff yourself to your heart's content this time. It's been a while, hasn't it? I don't think you've been this excited for a long time. Is that a ship over there? You have a ship? Yep, we sometimes go out boating. Oh, and Jichun's building's right across that pond. You each get a building of your own? Yeah, we do. So when I first departed from Hall Yuan, I found the concept of an entire family living on the same roof so fascinating. It would be quite the challenge for their family to see one another. That's exactly why we each get a building. Are you talking about the same thing here? Alack for woe! We could have merely enjoyed our vacations at Long Hong Lu's residence all along! That would have worked, Don Quixote. When I left home, Grandmother and the elders really impressed upon me that the footsteps shall eventually bring you home when the time's right. Thus witness, and only witness, as much of the world as you may before you make your return. I was wondering what that would be, but time really slipped through our fingers, and just like that, brought me here. Most sinners did not welcome their turn. Some of them were even terrified of it. Sometimes they've had to confront what they'd been avoiding all their lives. And for some, important things that were once forgotten or lost were waiting for their return. But the reluctance is really not surprising at all. I don't think I'd welcome an opportunity to get my memories back with open arms if it was thrust upon me out of nowhere, especially if I was getting dragged there against my will. But despite the fact that it couldn't be more obvious that this turn had arrived, Hong Lu was as tranquil as he always was. He's always been able to remain aloof no matter what happens. Maybe it won't be different this time either. But even so, can I judge that so hastily? Young Master Bao Yu of the Jia family has returned! Again, it was a Palanquin Bearer's deep, full-throated pronouncement before our arrival door opened. Here we are. You must all be so tired. Come in, come in. Leaving behind the sinners, who were still reeling from the astronomical level of opulence at display, Hong Lu bounced light-lift Palanquin and moseyed into the building. Quite the light-footed steps he takes, unhindered by excitement and no trepidation. Right? Which one's gone up in fear because he used this kind of polishness, that's all this is. Verily, this may be a subtle expression of that teensy part of the net longing to see his family again. Once we all left the Palanquin, I was beset by overwhelming vastitudes and objects of great magnitude. How many servants do they have? Grandmother will visit us when Zhu Hour arrives. The banquet will start then, I think. Zhu Hour? Zhu Hour refers to the time between 1900 and 2100. It is a unique time system used in certain regions of the East. In addition, it would be best to remember that Hong Lu's grandmother, Jia Mu, is the hierarch of Daguanyan. It would not be an incorrect assessment to see her as the ruler of Hong Yuan. Your relative is the head of a wing, I see. Yeah, well, she'll be handing that over to the next heir pretty soon. Why now? What does she seek to achieve by abdicating at this precise time? Otis, as she probably saw an ulterior motive behind every move, inquired. She's been saying that her time would eventually come, that she's carried this responsibility for too long. Which is pretty shocked to hear that you'll be taking part of the family hierarchy war. I don't know about all that. Maybe she'll take it well. There's never been a reason for me to bother participating, but there wasn't a reason for me not, either. Hey, there's Shishun way over there. I think they both arrived safely. Jia Shishun, who arrived before us, shot us the briefest of glance before looking away with exaggerated disinterest. Shishun just turned her back on us. Well, it didn't take long for things to become super awkward. Oh, we must capture this opportunity to see ourselves at Jace the young Zichun! Too late. We're banned from ever getting anywhere near her. It's wherefore! We're no longer Jiachichun's faction. Our studies be expected. Things have changed. Us versus them, in-group versus out-group. Deception and treachery are natural parts of war. Now I have today may as well become an enemy of tomorrow. That's a funny way to say I don't have any friends. What do you just... they're my parents. Hold on, we're just walking around to them. Blimey, at least tell us their names. Father's name is Zhang of the Jia family, and Da Yuan Yuan. They call my mother Lady Wang. I greet you for the first time since our departure. Bao Yu of the Jia family has returned home. You're early. Bao. Dear Bao Yu, it's been too many years. See you again after so long. It is good to see your face. Oh, I don't know what I should even say. The father, Jia Sheng, eyes darted nervously between us and Hong Lu. Meanwhile, his mother gingerly brings him in for a careful embrace as though she was in the presence of something so utterly, deeply moving. It was more than the pure joy of reunion. So they're Hong Lu's parents. Thank you so much for your hospitality. You certainly spared no expenses. So, who are these people you've come here with? Oh, there aren't too many of them. They're my friends I made out in the world. He's not introducing us as his lackeys like a certain someone I know. Oh, that's... Hong Lu's mother slowly turned around to look at us. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but someone almost felt like she was looking down at each of us one by one. I'm so glad to meet you all. Bao Yu's always been such a stubborn child. I'm sure he was quite the handful to come to you on your journeys. I hope you can still embrace him despite every... Stubborn? Hong Lu? Whatever it was she said, they don't seem all too happy to hear that. Dear Bao Yu, why do you allow your friend to call you by that name? What if you know a blessed name bestowed upon you by the Reverend Zhang and our elders? Well, what's going on with her? Hong Lu reached out and, gently yet indifferently, held his mother's violently trembling hands. Of course I would, Mother. The name is too noble indeed. Yes, it's not a name that any rabble should so heedlessly speak. Of course. Oh, you also have an old name and a new name? Don't you remember? Back in P Corp, way called Hong Lu, young Master Bao Yu. I also remember how he announced himself before that duel on the way we arrived at H Corp? And his stuff is Bao Yu of the Jia family. That was doing him back then, though, given all the circumstances. Well, unless us calling you your real name's gonna cheapen its nobility or whatever. It's just a name, so you can say it as many times as you want and won't appreciate whatever value it has. Well, some people do actually believe that it does, I suppose. It was wise of you to refrain from using that name. Right. Let your precious name be known among the plebeian populace to encourage knights and dark to strike even here, too. It's as your mother says, were your true name to be made known, any individual with a passing connection to H Corp would have easily connected you to Hong Yuan. And it's said that most names are repositories of the keeper's origins. In the eastern region of the city, when the parents name their child, they imbue them with meaning. It carries their wish for the children's place and use in the world. You. What's your name mean? My name? It's a combination of wishes. Not only to those of my parents, but those many more. It means I was born with precious Jade. Jump out you. Awful. Hong Lu's better. At least try to whisper. Call the rich boy all I want. If I'm ever forced to call you young Master Bao Yu, some servile shot like that, I'll take a punch or two from the guard. You could feel the horrified gaze of the servants staring at us. I don't mind, so please continue to call me Hong Lu if you want. Please seat yourself, our guests. The food will be served soon. What's all this? They actually expect us to eat all this? I don't think I've ever been intimidated by food before. There was quite literally a mountain of dishes on the table. Starting to wonder if the purpose of these dishes was more to flaunt their wealth rather than to feed us a reasonable amount of food. Oh, what a feast! I can ask for refills, right? Yes. What's up with these empty seats over there? Still killing time for some guests to arrive? I don't think so. They're probably the seats for my old siblings somewhere in Da Yuan Yan. They probably just didn't want to attend. It's banquet to welcome me after all. I'm sure they believe it's a waste of time to attend. Better be on some real busy schedule than this. Xiaolu! Venerated to be her presence, gracious us! Xiaolu! Venerated to be her presence, gracious us! The announcement, the utter silence quickly devoured the busy hubbub. Jesus Christ, it's weird phrasing. Weird for me to say. Of the venue. Those who were sitting quickly rose to their feet and bowed, while those who were standing knelt down on all fours, their backs bent so low that their foreheads were nearly touching the floor. And the woman walking up from between them, the crowd itself parting down the middle from her sheer presence. There's grandmother. That's Hong Lu's grandmother, the family hierarch of H Corp, and its chief executive director. Jiamu's presence was at once warm, gentle, yet immense and overwhelming, like personification of an insurmountable mountain. We are graced by your presence, venerable Jiamu. We are graced by your venerable presence, Jiamu. Should we bow too? I don't think you bow any lower with your face halfway in the bowl, so you should be fine. Probably. She's surrounded by other high show, I think, too. Guys, everything's gonna be all fine as long as we don't do anything stupid. As everyone was bowing before Xiaomu, awed and humbled, only Hong Lu looked straight at Xiaomu without bowing. Then he got up from his seat and walked toward her. It's been a while, grandmother. Please ascend, young Master Bao Yu. It seems that special permission was needed to even stand next to her, as Hong Lu was allowed to approach her only after the servant gave him the go-ahead. Little Bao Yu, you must have walked and toiled tirelessly on your journey home. Not at all, grandmother, because I've learned so many new things, thanks to everyone who treated me so nicely. Had you sought to master the art of learning? No, master, regardless of pursuit, we've been out of your reach. You could have learned much in the halls of erudition from them. Yet the world taught from sheets of paper is simply that, words on paper. We wish that you, dear Bao Yu, would learn more of the secular world. Do not let flow betwixt your fingers the time that is given to you. I know this opportunity is more than what I deserve, grandmother. I appreciate your return all the same, and you have deigned to return before me ere my abdication of the great responsibility. Verily, it appears that young Hong Lu son of the Limbus Company as a Gran Turismo of sorts. Gran Turismo? What's that? You two, you stop babbling with your mouths full. Young members of the family's most eminent are sent out to the world on a grand tour. Thus, according to Mrs. Prentice, Gran Turismo, if thou wilt, before they are to commence their public activities. The purpose is to learn the varied experiences that cannot be gained from books, to grow familiar with the world outside. I hear that you met with Ji Chun in the world not long ago. I have. A bright child she is. Well prepared to take on the challenges of the family hierarchy evaluations, I presume. I agree. I'm sure Ji Chun will wisely overcome the trials. Indeed. Have you paid a visit to the revered elders, then? I will soon. Lady Wang, ascend here as well. With your Master Xiaomu, of course. Hong's mother hurried up to where Xiaomu stood. It must cause your heart great distress to have your one and only son depart his home, to wander the world beyond the hedges. Of course not, Xiaomu. I'm simply glad that my son, Bao Yu, has returned as a man who can now more than carry his own weight, and unharmed, too. Thus, dear Bao Yu, I don't mean to rush, but when are you planning to depart again? Nothing been decided yet, mother. I see. I'm simply concerned that were your stay here to be prolonged, perhaps you might fade before your duties are completed. Complete your duties and return students that the agreement Xiaomu have so graciously made for us fulfilled, Indeed. Lose not, forget not. You are our family's one and only Jade. Dear Bao Yu, our peerless treasure, tarry not over long in this mundane world. Leave when the time is right and fulfill your worth. Okay, grandmother? Mother? Yes, I am trying to put on the evil voice for Xiaomu because I feel like it shouldn't really be a surprise that she's kind of messed up. But regardless, that will do for this time. And next time we'll meet Jue Bao Chai. Jue Bao Chai. I'm gonna suck at these pronunciations. But until then, see you guys later.